Work 3 days and then no more. That's just enough to keep a good man sore. What's the matter, operator, that you don't sign? Put your name or your number down on a dotted line.
Several websites have what is purportedly a copy of a translation of a letter sent by Padre Pio addressed to the Commission of Heroldsbach. The letter is about the 3 days of darkness. There is some dispute about the authenticity of the letter. However, to get a better handle on this, we should probably put it in context and first discuss just what the Commission of Heroldsbach was. Here's an article from October of 1949 that shows a little German girl holding a conversation with what she claimed was a vision of the Blessed Mother. In front of the little girl was a crowd of the townspeople who were awed by the spectacle. The article says that church officials were investigating the story. It seems that there were several girls claiming to be conversing with the Blessed Mother. Some accounts said that there were 6 of them, others said 9. As many as 40,000 pilgrims per day were flocking to Heroldsbach, while the church had set up a commission to investigate the phenomenon. Here we see in the Catholic Advance, a weekly publication, that during the week of January 27, 1950, which is just before the date of Padre Pio's alleged letter, that the Bamberg diocese determined that the children had not divulged anything justifying the assumption that the visions were of a supernatural origin. On the contrary, facts had been established that the diocese had serious misgivings regarding the visions. It was noted that the Heroldsbach children had repeatedly contradicted themselves. Here's an article about the alleged apparitions from the Brooklyn tablet dated July 28, 1951. It said that gullible persons were still visiting Heroldsbach to see the visions. Catholics who continued to attend the spurious visionary meetings at the village of Heroldsbach faced severe church penalties, according to a chancery announcement. Those unwilling to heed the warnings were to be refused Holy Communion. At the same time, the Swiss hierarchy, in a joint statement, formally warned the faithful not to be dangerously credulous regarding the visions. Fully supporting the bishops of Germany, many who had issued similar warnings, the Swiss bishops enjoined their clergy from going to the tiny village, which attracted attention after the fall of 1945, when 9 girls ranging from 11 to 18 years of age successively claimed to have had miraculous apparitions of the Blessed Mother. Tens of thousands of people flocked to Heroldsbach from Germany, Austria, France, and Switzerland, despite the formal warnings issued by the Chancery and the Holy Office in Rome. The commission reached the conclusion that the children were victims of mental images and illusions, and that the events they claimed to have witnessed definitely weren't of supernatural origin. Nevertheless, agitation about Heroldsbach continued. The locals did a thriving business by selling candles that were to be blessed by the Virgin Mary, devotional articles of all kinds, and foodstuffs. Bus companies organized trips to cash in on the venture, which was started on the mere word of some little girls who were clearly excitable and immature. For instance, the scene of Bethlehem was described by the children who pretended to have seen it, and they described it in great detail, even to the extent where the manger was adorned with a banner carrying a German translation of "Glory to God in the highest." The children insisted that little angels came to play with them regularly. One of the girls reported that she had seen the Holy Trinity, and when asked for a description, she described it by saying that there were 3 men, one dressed in blue, one in red, and one in yellowish gold, and over them hovered a dove. When told that something in that picture wasn't quite right, she replied, "Well, then we'll leave out the dove." On another occasion, someone asked one of the girls to ask the Blessed Mother whether she was the Assumpta, which is another word for the Assumption. The girl said that the Blessed Mother said, "No, I'm the Mother of God." Poems that the angels were supposed to have dictated to the children were far below the standard of nursery rhymes. Later, the children even convinced the pilgrims to confess to the apparition of the Blessed Mother directly and to receive Holy Communion directly from her. The children said that the people didn't need to go to a priest any longer. The investigations undertaken on behalf of the Archbishop proved conclusively that the children were victims of hallucinations. And here we see on August 4th of 1951 that veneration of Heroldsbach was banned. Priests taking part in veneration were automatically incurred suspension from their priestly functions. Here we see that the 7 so-called seers were being refused communion for revisiting the site of their so-called vision. Father Schmidt, a young priest, spoke with sadness about the dissension and with gentle irony about the visions. But the priest made it clear that he suspected the motives of a number of people who professed the belief. He said, "Look at those new buildings and motor cars. These visions appear to be timed like a movie program. Sometimes they appear earlier if there's a large crowd present." Did the fake apparitions at Heroldsbach have anything to do with the 3 days of darkness? Well, yes, they did. The fake seers at Heroldsbach were also prophets of the 3 days of darkness. Candles blessed by the alleged apparitions were supposed to be the only ones that would remain lighted in the great darkness that would befall the earth. So, if Padre Pio was writing a letter in support of the apparitions at Heroldsbach on January 28th of 1950, it means that he wrote it after reading about all of the heresies connected with the alleged apparitions. Now, here we see the future Cardinal Ottaviani list Heroldsbach among a list of false apparitions. So is it likely that Cardinal Ottaviani would have so easily dismissed the apparitions if he knew that Padre Pio was in support of them? According to Desmond A. Birch in his book, Trial, Tribulation, and Triumph, which interestingly supports the 3 days of darkness prophecies, largely based on the supposed testimony of Anna Maria Tiaggi, there are printed materials containing prophecy of 3 days of darkness, which attributes such a prophecy to Padre Pio. But the author, meaning Birch himself, has in his possession sworn documents from the Capuchin order stating that no such prophecy ever emanated from Padre Pio. All the author's attempts to track down an authentic source from Padre Pio have led to the conclusion that some persons, either accidentally or willfully, created these attributions of such prophecy to Padre Pio. Many other prophecies from unapproved sources have appeared in recent years alleging to prophesy the 3 days of darkness. Some of those alleged sources appear extremely doubtful as to their authenticity. This may be a question of copycat prophecies. Since a possible copycatism may have developed, any prophecy from unapproved sources should be carefully examined. However, if you're absolutely certain that Padre Pio really wrote something to the Heroldsbach Commission, there's an easy way to settle this once and for all. The Diocese of Bamberg would not have likely destroyed its files regarding its investigations of the apparition. They're probably sitting in an old file cabinet. It would be great if someone would like to write the diocese and request a copy, or at least ask for a confirmation of whether the letter exists. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be back again within a week with another one. But in the meantime, please check out my Facebook page and my Twitter page. Every day I post additional content that you won't find on this YouTube channel. And also, please pray for the church.
After 3 days in the desert fun, I was looking at a riverbed, and the story it told of a river that flowed made me sad to think it was dead. You see, I've been through the desert on a horse.